from the Involta team, and now we're here today for this very special day, and look forward to hearing the comments from Bruce here in just a few minutes. The first thing I'd like to do is recognize many of the elected officials who have been a part of this collaborative and a part of this success. And I know you'll hear a few minutes from our Honorable Mayor Don Pasquellic and Summit County Executive Russ Fry, as well as from Bruce and from Suma. But let me mention these names, and then they hold the applause till they're all mentioned. Ms. Samantha Hurd, District Director, Office of Congresswoman Betty Sutton. Mr. Chris Couples, District Representative, Office of Congressman Tim Ryan. Ms. Christina Wagner, Regional Liaison, Office of Governor Kasich, State of Ohio. Mr. John Curry, Regional Representative, Office of Auditor Yost, State of Ohio. Senator Tom Sawyer from the Ohio Senate. Representative Vernon Sykes, Ohio Representative, is on his way here. He'll be arriving in just a few moments. Of course, Executive Russ Fry, Summit County Council President, Jerry Feeman, Summit County Council, Councilwoman Sandra Kurt, Summit County Council, Councilwoman Eileen Shapiro, Summit County Council, the Honorable Mayor Don Pasquellic, City of Akron, Councilwoman Linda Omobian, Akron City Council, Tamala Lee, Summit County Council, Marco Somerville, President of the Akron City Council, Kristen Scalise, Fiscal Officer, County of Summit, and is any elected official who may have come in Mayor Prokoff is here as well, others. Let's give our elected officials a huge round of applause. Today is a very special day as we officially begin this partner and collaborative. As we go back and recall 3 years ago, and our office got the phone call, obviously the first thing that our team did was bring our partners together, whether it's the City of Akron, Summit County, Main Core team, the developers, there are so many that you'll hear from here today, but really should be recognized, the collaboration, the cooperation. And before we hear from our elected officials, I do want to thank Bruce. Really appreciate your whole team, your commitment, your leadership, your vision, not just here but across the country, and just from day one, all the meetings, all the things that we did to support you, and you support us. It really is a team effort. So I'd like to ask Bruce to come forward to give some opening remarks. Let's welcome our President, Bruce Lehrman.
Well, Dan, thank you for that opening, and I have to say, we will talk a little bit more about the Chamber and the work they've done, but I just have to tell everybody here that the Chamber has been a tremendous asset, and they've let us use their office for meetings and all sorts of things. So we got a tremendous organization, and thank you so much. So I really appreciate everybody showing up today. It's a big day for Involta, and it's a big day for the community. And as Dan mentioned, 3 years ago to this day, Jeff Quint and I were on a conference call to the Chamber to share our thoughts about the possibility of a data center in Akron. And Greg Kramer had arranged a call with Jeff, Rick Rebideau, and Bob Cooper were present, along with a lot of other people in this room. We talked about a vision to bring a world-class data center to Akron. And with the help of a lot of people in this audience, that vision is reality today. The data center is a culmination of 3 years of building relationships and trust in this community. It was through the leadership and guidance by many organizations and individuals that include the Akron Chamber of Commerce, Bob and Regina Cooper, who have become my second family in Akron, and appreciate everything there. Suma Healthcare, Greg Call, Ken Waters, and a lot of his team. The University of Akron, Jim Sage, Dr. George Newcomb, Dr. Luis Proenza, Akron General Dave Pfizer and his team. The City of Akron has been tremendous to work with, from everybody in the organization, from Mayor Pasquellic, Bob Bowman, to Brad Beckert, and the whole entire City of Akron team has been great to work with. Summit County, Russ Pryor, Jason Dodson, and all their team. It's just been awesome to work with. State of Ohio, and I'd also like to recognize a lot of the Involta team who, if you would have been here a couple days ago, you would have never thought it was possible that we would have this grand opening, but people worked through the night last night and got this place cleaned up and ready to go for this thing. So it seems like everything was always deadline driven, and I got to tell you, there was probably 20 people from Involta that were washing out concrete dust out of their drawers this morning. So anyway, thank you to that. We really do have a tremendous team of people, and they work all day to get customer experiences to a positive level, and I just want to thank them at this time. So if we can give our Involta employees. Nobody's been working as hard as Jeff Thorsteinson on our team. He's our Chief Security Officer, but he's also taken on the role of marshaling this project on time and on budget. So I think Jeff wanted to say a few words. So Jeff, thank you very much, and I think you're going to say a few words.
So I got to give you a little background. The last time I spoke in public for Involta is 2008. It was June, just 7 days before a record flood. I talked about disaster recovery, and I told the folks, you got to be ready for a flood. Little did I know the next few days Bruce would be hip deep in water. So after that, Bruce kind of said, why don't we ixnay on the disaster nay type stuff. So he wanted to be really careful. And of course, this is the Brown and Grave site, but it's been many things before that. So we went ahead, and our color scheme is brown for the Brown and Grave site. And for what the Graves part, that was a little bit harder, but we got these Buckeye bricks. Now, it turns out there's quite a few of them in Belize here. So I spent the morning working in the mirror. You know, when you have a difficult name to pronounce, you got to work in the mirror and make sure you get it right. You know, I'm not David Letterman or anything like that. So I want the mayor of Akron to help me out, so I was working on his name. Working, and I checked with Bruce, and he said, get it right. You know, and I was working with a guy, one of the craftsmen here. I went to school with him, where he was an all-state and all-city football player back when. So I wanted to get that name right, So if you want to come up here and help me, Mayor Don. I know you're used to bricks going through windows. That's what this one's for. It's for a little bit of story about an all-American city. So we're proud to be part of the all-American city, but Brad Becker, I think I saw him here today, right back there. He took so many questions about this site and introduced us to so many people, and you would think that he had to plow the entire field with all the work he had to do to get us onto this site. An all-American effort. Then I ran into another one of your guys, Bill Fatica, and I think he's back in there, and he kind of worked me through the city of Akron. He kind of took me on the side, and then we came up with this fiber project, and he introduced me to a guy named George Thomas, who I don't know if George is here, right there, and George coached us, prompted us, cajoled us, helped us through our fiber builds. We got 8 miles of fiber. So what I'm thinking of, Mayor Don, is this Buckeye brick. It would look pretty good in Mr. Fatica's office, because he happens to be not just a Buckeye Stater, but a Ohio State fan. Is that right, Bill? And Mr. Fatica, raise your hand, Bill. He's my truth serum. So if you look at the data center, he was here on Thursday. If he says it doesn't look any different, then one of these bricks is heading for my head by Bruce, okay? So Mayor Don, can you help me out there and give that to your staff? If you want, I got more bricks for the entire city staff if you want it.
What was it I was supposed to do?
Give it to Bill Fatica. Thank you. And Mayor Pasquale, I think that's an easy job. Your name is a little harder. We have one more, or a couple more bricks. one of the things on All-American efforts is we have a young man marshaling our electrical efforts. So we have miles and miles of copper wire and checks to write for that copper wire. And so we had a guy who, despite schedule, despite late deliveries, despite everything, he came up strong and represented all the best values. So when you go through here, I think he represents a lot of the craftsmen. And I think he's here, Aaron Depenant. He's with Vaughn Industries from Toledo, also a Buckeye fan. It turns out a lot of people in this state are Buckeye fans. Now, I think this used to be a Cardinal red brick and it's faded recently, but Aaron, fantastic work.
Thank you.
If this brick was gold, it still wouldn't match the heart and soul this guy's put in. So this is a young man who's All-American for us. Thank you. So Mayor Don, we do actually have more bricks, but we only wanted to dig up a few. The last brick, I'd like to introduce the brains of Involta. So Involta's got to be a good neighbor. Involta's got to be a good community member. We got to learn how to be a Buckeye ourselves. So we're pretty lucky that way. We got Tom Lang and Ken Kramer if they come up. They're the brains of the outfit. I guess that means I'm the beauty, but yeah, there's people laughing in front here who heard that. So this is a brick we're going to keep in our data center, not for emergency cooling, throw through window or anything like that, but just to remind us that this is kind of our foundation on how to be a Buckeye. So I wanted to say thanks to Tom and to Ken, and I wanted to make sure you guys understood that we're very grateful to be here. And then I want to tell you, I'm so glad because I didn't, Bruce said ixnay on the disaster stuff, so I didn't mention tornadoes, I didn't mention floods, I didn't mention fires, I didn't mention... Oh, I just said that instead of thinking it. Thanks, and have a good tour. I'm going to be at the transmission station. Thank you.
Well, as Jeff mentioned, we are all very fortunate to be a part of this community. It's not just another location for us. Over the last 3 years, we have developed a lot of business in this area, but more importantly, we've developed a lot of friendships as well. And it's a great community. We're not only proud to be a part of it, we also believe we're contributing to the transformation of this area. So thanks again. We really appreciate you showing up today. Greg, would you mind saying a few words? This is Greg Call, Systems Vice President and CIO for Summa Healthcare.